Welcome, everyone, to I So Appreciate You, a raw, funny, and uniquely insightful podcast about the issues and opportunities we all face as values-based leaders and humans. I'm Nadege.
And I'm Melanie. We're colleagues at the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation, and we're friends. When we get together, our conversations can go anywhere, especially when bringing a friend or two along for the ride.
So we're inviting you to join us and some incredible guests as we explore the challenges and triumphs of people shaking up our community for the better. Welcome. I'm so excited about today's episode.
Me too.
I mean, our guest today,
Sheletta Brundidge.
She is so great. She's a mom, a community activist, an award-winning broadcaster, best-selling author, business owner. I could keep going, but
has so much energy. So she's going to come in here and blow us away.
I know. Like, so we gotta get ready.
Oh yes, we do.
We gotta get hyped up.
We do.
How do we do that?
Well, because Sheletta Makes Me Laugh is her company or website. This morning, something made me laugh. So I thought I'd bring it to the discussion because I'm also curious about what you think about this. So I was in bed reading, as I often do, and I came across the phrase Herkel Durkel. Do you know what that means? or it could be called Herkel Durkling.
Okay, I don't like. It just sounds like a weird thing. I'm just going to be really honest.
Herkel Durkel. Okay. It is a cozy morning loafing. It's a reference from an old Scottish phrase that really means spending idle time awake in bed. And I was thinking, because I was in bed.
No, I'm just going to stop you right there. Absolutely not.
Listen.
That word does not mean that. Like, it doesn't, nothing about that word feels like idling in bed. That word feels like a jiggly dance or some like weirdo walking down the street or like, I don't know, like some weird golf putt-putt thing that I don't know how to do.
Nadege, do you know how well I know you?
What?
I was reading this. I'm like, I'm going to ask Nadege about this, and she's not going to like this word. She's not going to like Herkely Durkling or whatever it is. No. See, I am like, she's not. But I Herkel Durkel in the morning with my coffee and my books and my cats. We're all Herkel Durkling. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but I love the concept. Let me just ask you this. Do you ever have coffee in bed?
Not really, but I'm not like a huge coffee person. But I do like lay in bed and, like we'll read or, sometimes like watch an episode of something or whatever. So like the concept, I'm 100%
Okay, so
behind.
you're not against the concept.
Yeah,
you're
no,
against
I
the
just
phrase.
cannot marry the phrase. Like you cannot say to me, Nadege, you were Herkling. Oh, no, I can't even barely get it out of my mouth. That's just ridiculous.
It is. There's a lot of ridiculousness that we're going to probably talk about later. Like we're going to laugh with Sheletta.
Yeah, we're probably going to laugh so hard we're going to cry. Should we tell her about the? No, we should not tell her about the
You're
Herkling.
not going to let me.
I'm not. Mm-hmm. We can't talk about it anymore.
All right.
But we can talk about like Sheletta and how she makes us laugh.
Let's do it.
I So Appreciate You is just one of the many initiatives we are working on at the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation. Want to learn more about how we work to create an equitable, just, and vibrant Minnesota? Join our email list by visiting us at spmcf.org/email. While you're there, make sure to check out our blog and follow us on social media.
Hello, everyone. We are back with our very special guest today, Sheletta Brundidge. So excited for this conversation, Sheletta. Before we get into everything, we just want to give our listeners a little bit of your background, though I think a lot of people know who you are. So can I tick a couple things off?
Yes.
All right, good. So you've really done it all. You are a mom, an autism advocate, a community activist, an award-winning broadcaster, best-selling author, which I love, and business owner. You really can be found anywhere, including on the state's first Black-owned podcast network, which you created.
Yes.
Sheletta Makes Me Laugh.
I'm so excited.
And I have one more thing that I just have to mention because you and my fantastic co-host Nadege were both recipients of the Women in Business Award.
Yes.
And two of my favorite speeches. But when you got up there, you fundamentally shifted the entire energy of that $700 person crowd.
Baby, let me tell you something. They was wrong for them ticket prices. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number
Here we
2,
go.
it went from a breakfast to a dinner because we was in there too long,
We were in there
and they
a long
honored way
time.
too many women. But I always wanted to be somebody who shifts atmosphere.
You did.
You did.
You know what I mean? It just somebody who, when they come in the room, things have to change, and everybody don't like that.
No, it was
everybody
great.
don't like that. Everybody don't like that, and I don't care.
Well, I will tell you, I wanted to meet you from that day forward,
Come
and
on,
here we
girl,
are.
here we
Here we
are.
are. Woo!
Come on.
High five. All right.
High five.
All right. Not like we need to get warmed up at all today.
No.
But
We came on fire. It's menopause season. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
But
I'm
for
gonna be
folks,
naked by the time it's over, girl. Take off clothes.
man, that could be the whole episode right there. Like,
could- let's talk about that.
Let's be
Yeah.
very real. Like,
Yeah.
we could do a whole tangent. on
Baby.
that.
And I have an ongoing combo.
Yes.
Correct. But we are going to start with 3 quick questions because our fans, know and love that we start that way to get us warmed up. So here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Time machine or magic wand?
Oh, magic wand.
Oh, like you were
Ooh,
definitive.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I don't never want to be 20 again. 20 was dumb. 30 was
Yeah.
uninformed. 40 was regretful. 50 is it. I'm
Ooh,
like, oh,
I love
yeah,
it.
I love
I love
50.
it.
So I want a magic wand because I got some creditors I need to take care of. Time machine won't do that.
You take my student loans with you?
Baby.
All right, here we go. French fries or onion rings?
Onion rings.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Girl, have you
Okay.
girl, do you know McDonald's French fries are $4 for a medium fry? Yeah, $4.25 for a medium fry.
No.
I did not know that.
I
No.
just went to Hy-Vee and bought a bag of potatoes. I was like, you know what? Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, speaking of, you just named a brand name or generic?
Brand, always.
Okay.
Oh,
Always.
interesting.
Yeah, always. Never. If it's generic, I'm not even getting it.
Really?
Really, because I
Why?
need to know who to sue if something go wrong. I need a brand name.
Oh my God.
Who do the lawyers need to call?
yes.
I had never thought about it
I
from that
didn't either. I
perspective.
love that. I
may
did not.
be reconsidering my whole life fundamentally as a former lawyer. Like, I'm like, you know what?
That should have been your first
That's
name.
on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I like to save $1 when I can.
I was going to say,
Okay, I like to sue when I can.
should we be worried about going forward here?
Very, very
okay.
concerned.
All right.
Very concerned.
Oh, goodness. There's so much we could talk about today,
Yes.
Sheletta, obviously. But we wanted to start with just understanding a little bit about your authenticity journey because, as I ticked off in the intro, you do so many things. You've gone in so many directions. You're all over the place. And the one common thread that I think anyone who meets you or hears you or experiences you can identify is that authenticity. So has that been something that you've had to work on over time, or from the beginning were you able to just be yourself in situations?
As women, and we're in a room full of women, we are told to behave in a certain way.
Yes, we are.
We were told to look a certain way, that our weight should be a certain way, that our height, our hair, the earrings, the makeup, the mascara, the clothes, how our feet should look. I just left the nail shop because I thought my feet were ugly. So I better fix them if I want to, find me a man because I'm back out here in these streets.
Okay.
But so I don't think any of us started out being authentic. Because we all want to fit in. Who wants to be the outside at 8 or 18 or 28, right? You want to fit in. And I don't think, especially as women, that we understand the value of who we really are until we are a little bit older and a little bit wiser. I teach at the University of Minnesota in the school of the Hubbard School of Journalism, a podcasting class. And one of the courses, we were coming up with podcast ideas. And so the guys in the class, they had the dumbest damn ideas, girl. I mean, they just had the craziest ideas, stuff I never. I was like, who's going to listen to that? Nobody wants to hear that. But they presented with confidence.
Yes.
They came up to the table with these dumb ideas, and they were just so confident in what they had come up with. And the ladies had the best ideas. But they were so unsure of themselves. So we stopped the class. I was like, we're done. We're not doing podcasts anymore. We're talking confidence.
Ooh.
We're talking
you did.
confidence.
Oh, you just
Stop.
switched it up.
Okay, yeah, because I'm not like a daily teacher. I come in like 8, 10, 12 times a semester. So I don't really have to like them. Like, I don't have to pretend like I care anything about them. I'm here to help you.
Yep.
Get to your next level of greatness. So I don't have to be like a regular. I don't get your reviews. So if you go to the dean and tell him you don't like me, it don't matter because I'm not really your real teacher. I'm filling in.
You're like the guest star.
Right. I'm the guest star.
Yeah.
Right? I'm Tito Jackson. I'm gonna come in the back and I'm gonna play the guitar and the drums and then we're gonna be out of here. Right. But I talk to the ladies about being confident, about presenting, about making sure when you have ideas. I told this one girl, I said, baby, that's $1 million idea. You sitting on $1 million idea and you not only wanted to go last, you didn't want to tell us.
Yeah.
I had to beg you for it. And then when you gave it to me, you were so unsure of it that I was already in a posture of this is about to be the dumbest thing I ever heard. And when it came out of your mouth, it was the best idea of the day. And so the entire class wound up coming and galvanizing around her and supporting her and helping her build up this whole idea about podcasting and journaling. And we start talking about the different streams of income she can make. So you are sitting on $1 million and you were too afraid to tell your classmates, your teacher, the guest teacher, because women are not taught to be confident.
So I have to ask then.
What, girl?
When did you teach yourself or how did you learn to be confident?
I don't think that I've arrived.
Oh.
I think that we are all works in progress and I have not arrived. One thing I stopped doing was caring what anybody thought. You know, what anybody said. Because I realized the people who were saying the thing, right? It didn't matter a hill of beans. They weren't helping me anyway. It didn't matter anyway what they thought. And so I thought, I'm just going to be me. Because even when we go into the corporate world, because nobody starts out being an entrepreneur. These kids are coming out of college because they got the internet and they making millions of dollars, right?
Yep.
But we didn't start out entrepreneurs because we didn't have the internet. These young people got Google and they got Instagram and they can sell millions of books on Amazon based on their TikTok video. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
So we had to start out in corporate.
Yep.
We had to start at the bottom in the mailroom, overnights and weekends and work our way up. So we had to look a certain way, dress a certain way, have a hair a certain way, talk a certain way. So we had to code switch, especially for black women. I can't go in there and tell my, hey, girl, hi. Hi, how are you? How's everything going? That's great. And then get in the car and be like, girl, I am exhausted. I've been talking like a white woman all damn day. This is exhausting. Girl, I need a drink or something. Girl, give me a cigarette or something. Because we could not be ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Not and be respected and promoted and even if you found another woman and you tried to develop a sisterhood with her, it was almost like they were the people who warned you. I was like, hey sister, how you doing? Come here. Don't call me sister. Not in front of the white people. Okay? They were teaming up on them. So just call me by my name and then we can go to lunch or something and then we'll and so these were good lessons that we were learning, right?
Yes.
From these women in corporate America. But that goes back to doing even more damage about being your authentic self and being who you are, because you get all this training and you need it. Because I can't go around these men talking like this, dressing like this with my feet out. I can't. It's not gonna happen. And they're a bald head and bold and black and loud with a no. I told somebody one day, they called KSTP when I was working there and I answered the phone. Hubbard Broadcasting, can I help you? And they were like, hi, may I speak to Sheletta? I was like, oh, hey, girl, it's me. And they were like, oh, my God, you didn't even sound like yourself. I said, Mr. Hubbard does not pay me to be myself. He pays me to be a white woman. So when I answer this phone, I'm going to be the white woman that he pays me to be. And now that I know it's you, what's up? What you need?
That is, that rings so true.
I know you can identify.
My brother
That's
called
it.
me at work once and he was like, who was that who answered the phone? Because it was my lawyer voice. It was
It's your lawyer voice.
Nadege Souvenir speaking.
Oh, of course. And then, you sound like a husky voiced white man who's been smoking Marlboro cigarettes. Because I did it on the radio. When I was at CCO, here come the consultants, because you're too black, you're too loud. This is what people want to hear, right? And so I'm on the radio and I'm like, hi, welcome to CCO Radio. It's Sheletta Brundidge. The time is 8:05. The temperature is 72 degrees outside right now. And we're going to go to traffic and news in just a moment. And so my kids were listening and they were like, Mama, there's a white man on your show. Are you coming on the radio? Because I thought you was going to give us a shout out. I said, baby, this is me. That's What are you talking? No, Mama, that's not you. Girl, my kids didn't even know my voice. Now, if anybody ought to know your voice, it's your damn kids.
Yeah.
Girl, they did not recognize me. And that's when, after about the 8th consultant, I said, you know what? What you see is what you about to get from here on out. And if you don't like what you get and see, then you better get somebody else, because it's exhausting.
Right.
Tell them it's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It's damn exhausting, girl. And you have no energy left when you get home, where your husband's waiting for you, where your kids are waiting for you, where the trash is waiting, the laundry's waiting, the dishes are waiting, the neighbors are waiting, your church is waiting, your community is waiting. You drain code switching. So we just gonna show up how it is. Our hair gonna be how it is. The skin's gonna be what it is. We ain't finna put on all this makeup and stuff. It's not the Oscars every day. And so we just gonna live our life. And I think that when these big time companies see us being our authentic selves,
Yes.
and see people gravitating to that, they gotta fall in line. I remember Mary J. Blige said once, because they were trying to get Mary J. to cross over, right? Because Britney Spears was out, Christina Aguilera, and Mary J. Blige, and they were trying to get Mary J. to look like them. And Mary J. said, I'm not crossing over to them. I'm going to get them to cross over to me. And she just kept being ghetto fabulous. And she didn't apologize for it. And that gave women who look like me an opportunity to say, you know what, they're going to cross over to me. And so United Healthcare, Target, General Mills, Comcast, Bremer Bank, Hy-Vee, they all sponsors on my podcast network.
Right.
How's that? I didn't cross over to them.
Yep.
They crossed over to me. When they saw that every time I go out in community, 400 or 500 people show up based on 2 or 3 social media posts.
Yep.
They see that whenever we do something, it gets 10, 15, $30 million worth of earned media every single time. They want in on that.
Right.
So being your authentic self really pays out. You're not ever going to get everything that you are worth if you are not being who you are. It's not going to happen.
Well, like that was a whole
Eat.
master
No,
class
I
right
know.
there.
Eat that. Where that knife and fork at?
No,
Hold on,
yeah,
girl,
I
you got
know.
to eat that.
That was a whole.
You got to
y'all,
eat
are you
that.
listening?
No.
You
Are
got to
you?
eat
Did you
that,
take
girl.
notes?
Eat that.
Well,
Eat that.
I know. I really appreciate that, because what you're talking about is that magnetism that comes when people show up. That's who they are. And I'll speak for myself. I'm sure everyone in this room has seen this, but in managing people for many, many years, I saw men come in, act a certain way, like they deserved it, and women come in, they're talking about all the many things that they've done wrong before they get to their
Oh my God.
accomplishments. And so I think this just underscores too what we've talked about on the podcast.
Yeah, we have.
With all of these people that are showing up as their authentic self. So I love that you're underscoring that point.
And you know what we need to realize, especially as women, is that when we do show up, exactly what you just said, you get everything that you are trying to get being somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, everything that you wanted to try to get, you're going to get if you just show up being yourself. But it's so scary, y'all. For real. Like, it's scary. This is a faith walk.
Yeah.
You know, and you say, you know, I'm doing everything all over the place, but it's really it's mission work.
Yep.
I like to say I'm a missionary. Everything that I do is mission work, whether it is the autism children's books or the podcast or the activism or, you know, the speaking or the radio or whatever it is, it's all mission work. I'm on assignment to help people. Whether it is a parent who has a child with autism who can't talk, or a black business owner who needs access to a legislator, or you know, somebody who needs some publicity to get the word out about their business. Whatever it is, it's mission work, and I'm on assignment, and I don't take that assignment lightly.
That's so powerful and important. You've mentioned your kids a couple of times, and I wanna ask a question here, because I think, you know, in this conversation we've been having about women and how they show up, sometimes women with kids, we minimize the fact of the kids and the family in how we present. But like for you, like the kids are known, is front and center. Like she as a mom is like the first
thing. First thing you said.
It's the first thing. And so I would love you to talk a little bit more about being so front and center about momhood, parenthood, your kids.
Because that's just life for us, right? For so long, we had to hide our kids. I remember I'm a broadcaster. This is my 24th year in news and broadcasting. And so I know I look young, huh, girl? I know. I started working when I was 12. Okay. So this old school broadcaster, like we talked about, women pulling you to the side trying to give you these lessons they learned the hard way. She said, don't ever say your kids are sick. Say your car broke down. Don't ever say you need to leave early because, you got to go get your kid out of school or you got to go to something at the school. Tell them you got a doctor's appointment. Because you don't want them to judge you. Don't ever come to work and complain about something with your kids, saying they have some kind of mental health issues or they're sickly or they have to be out. Don't ever do that because you won't get that promotion. They will judge you. And she was not lying. Mm-hmm. She was not being dishonest. But my kids' journey is a little bit different. So, my husband and I had one child, and he was just the greatest kid. God fools you like that. That first one is always just like the best one. Like they start walking at 2 months old, and they start reading at like 8 months old, and they can do equations, algebraic equations when they like 3 hours old. So you're like, oh, this parenting thing, girl, this ain't nothing. What, girl? I can have 8 more of these babies.
See, I had the opposite reaction. I only have one because of that. I was like, I'm afraid.
Girl, so we were like, we wanted a big family. So we moved to Houston, where my mother is, who just retired. My daddy had just retired. I got all my aunts and uncles and everybody in my family. And so we moved 3 miles from my mama's house. And I was like, okay, we're going to go over here, live by my mama, and she going to take care of these kids. And so we could just work, and mama going to take care of the kids. And it was beautiful until we realized the kids had autism. So we were like, okay, these kids not looking at us. They are not talking. They are still in the pamper. They don't eat their food. They just hold it and something is wrong. Something ain't right. And so I went to a social worker in Houston. They got diagnosed. And I said, okay, so what do you have for the kids to help them get off the spectrum, to get them out of special education? And they said, there's nothing available until he turns 14 and we can put him in a group home. I said, but he's 4. And early intervention is the key. So what do you have for my child? And she said that we don't have anything until he turns 14 because there's a 10-year wait list in Texas. And I was like, oh, damn. Okay. So we start calling around. Being in news, we moved to a bunch of different cities. So we start calling around to places we had lived before. And Minnesota had a 10-month wait list. So we brought the kids here to get therapy, and they started getting better. Well, I started sharing the story of my children to encourage other parents who have kids with autism. Because here's the problem. You get the diagnosis, and then they send you home. And then what? Who do you call? Your friends with autistic kids? You have none. Where do you go to get support? And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to share this whole journey with the world. Yeah. Because if my kids are going through it, somebody else is going through it. And I remember I was like, how, Lord, did you give me 3 autistic children? What is going on? I got married first, then had my kids. I go to church. I tithe. I got one cousin. She got one baby. He got 4 baby daddies, and he don't got no autism. This is not fair, Jesus. What is going on here? And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to drink to death. So, girl, I was like drinking Great Oak vodka like water. I was like, I'm just going to take myself up out of here, but it's respectable, if your kidneys fail and your liver fail, so I'm just going to drink it all up. But, I just really heard a mission from God. Remember, I talked about this in being missionary. So get up, help your kids, and then go help somebody else's. And so that made me start sharing our story on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, wherever I am. Like, this child talked today. This child walked today. This child got out of a pamper today. Until we got to the point where this child tested off the spectrum today. This child rode a bike today. This child talked back today and is now going to foster care. Those kind of situations. And people have followed these kids. And I'm telling you, people have moved from other parts of the country to Minnesota because they've seen the progress that my kids have made. So that's why I talk about my kids, because I didn't have anybody except for Holly Robinson Pete, who really, because, a lot of parents are embarrassed. They don't want to talk about their special needs kid. They don't want to share that journey. And so you think you out here on the island all by yourself. And so I want to make it acceptable for other parents to connect and encourage each other.
That's great. And I wanted to ask you about the books that you have written.
Okay. So I got a surprise for y'all. I got a surprise for y'all.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to announce this. I just got clearance.
Okay.
We got a brand new book out. April is Autism Awareness Month, so thank y'all for talking to me about autism.
Yes.
My son, Andrew, It's going to be on Good Morning America,
Oh.
April 9th, to talk about his new book, Andrew Does His Dance.
Amazing.
This is supposed to be my book. I was supposed to write this book. But he's 17. He's the one child that I have who does not have autism. And so I've written 3 books, each one about my kids. Cameron goes to school. Daniel finds his boys. So it was time for me to write Andrew's book. Since 2020, I've written a book about my kids.
Yeah.
Right? Every year, each kid gets his own book. Or her own book. And so I was like, okay, Andrew, it's time. And he was like, no, I want to write my own book.
Wow.
And I was like, you ain't got no money for no book. This ain't cheap. Boy, that's 10 G's. We are self-published. No, I'm not trusting you with $10,000. You done lost your mind. And he said, Mom, I want my book to be different. I want to start a conversation about normal developing kids who have autistic siblings.
Wow.
He said, because while you were so focused on the kids who couldn't talk, y'all forgot about me. Because he could talk.
Right.
He's the perfect kid. He's potty trained at 1 year old. He was counting change and reading and doing his thing and riding his bike to school. So we were like, you good. You sit over here and do your thing. We're going to worry about these other 3 kids who can't talk. And we were celebrating every milestone. We were loving on them. We were going to therapy and everything else. And Andrew was in the corner. Stealing credit cards and going to OnlyFans and all kind of crazy stuff because he crying out God for attention. All he wanted was mom and dad to look at him. Yeah. We ain't know that because we like, you good. You don't need us.
Right.
These babies need us. They are vulnerable. They are 5, 6, 7 years old. They still in Pampers.
Yeah.
Even if we try to potty train them, they just gonna stand there and pee on themselves. You go into the bathroom, you bathing yourself, you can make your own food. You got your ramen, you good. The boy was raised on ramen, girl. He think ramen is a whole meal.
I mean, it can be.
Yeah.
We cut up some Vienna sausages in there. So his book is coming out. We just sent it to the printer, and it's all about the moment that he went viral. He was outside shoveling snow and dancing, and I took a clip of it because he was really supposed to be shoveling snow, so I go to work.
Yeah.
And did not do that. He was too busy dancing. and so I put it on Twitter. It was 10 seconds. Michael Strahan from Good Morning America picked it up. We minding our own business, eating our oatmeal in our house. We look up, girl, Michael Strahan talk about play of the day from Cottage Grove, Minnesota. Little Andrew Brundidge is doing. I was like, what? And so he finally felt seen.
Yeah.
And so that was a turning point for him. And so the book is going to end with that. So, of course, the folks at Good Morning America want to bring him out and Strahan talk to him and all that stuff. I hope they let me go. Ooh, damn, I didn't even ask if I could go on. I don't know if they just see.
Oh, yes, you got to be on.
I know.
Yes.
They ain't cut me out.
I mean, he wouldn't even be there if it were for you.
Yeah.
What? No, ma'am.
I think once they meet you, they're going to pull you onto
Girl,
that set.
I would jump on that set.
Yeah.
Security.
You'll be hosting by the time.
Okay, we'll be right back after this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness. There is bedlam. There is bedlam in the recording studio today, but you know, it's the good kind of bedlam.
It is the good kind.
Oh my goodness. I feel like we could, like, this is, don't they do like laugh therapy? It's like a thing.
Well, that
it's like a whole
They
situation.
do.
Yes.
Right. Like, so this is a little bit of like a session for folks listening. So for those of you on your walk or, you know, like maybe if you're doing the dishes, put the sharp objects down.
Please.
Yes,
Please.
We
We
don't
have a
any
motto in
accidents.
our house. It's called happiness is a choice. No matter what happens in your life, you have to choose to be happy. We teach our kids that. We taught them that before they could talk. And so when bad things happen, we give them 60 seconds. Look, you got 60 seconds to cry this out. I'm going to recognize your hurt or your disgust or you being upset for 60 whole seconds. And then after that, we're going back to being happy. Nobody can make you mad. Nobody can make you upset. Now, their actions might cause you to have a reaction, but you got to get back to happy. You got to get back to happy.
I'm channeling that.
Right. Like, I feel like that's just some work advice people should take.
Yes,
right? Like,
absolutely.
Okay. So that
60
email
seconds,
made you a little hot and under the collar.
Yeah.
You got 60
You
seconds.
got 60 seconds, baby.
I used to say that too. I mean, I don't not say it, but I feel like I haven't said it in a while. I used to say, you know, at the top of a check-in, if you need to come in and vent about something, you just need to say that. You need to declare it. Like, I'm about to let loose.
Yes.
And then you go and you safe space. So if you're a swear, if you're cry, you do whatever you need to do. Then you finish it, and then I'll ask you, Is that all you needed? Do we have an action item? Like, what's next?
Yeah.
And sometimes all you need is that 60 seconds,
Space.
2 minutes, whatever it is,
Yeah.
to just let it out of your system.
Everybody blood pressure
Absolutely.
come down.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, the time has just flown by.
has.
No,
It
yes,
has.
I know.
I want to wrap with, because we talked about being authentic, and then you've talked about your kids and the work that you do. And so I'm just wondering, for those of folks listening, like, do you have advice for people if they're thinking, okay, how do I not only, like, for some people, this might seem like a big lift. How do I not only show up as authentic, but also integrate like my kids and my whole life in who I am? Do you have any, like...
It's a great question.
You just do it.
Oh.
Stop overthinking it. Just do it. Just be real. You know, I tell people all the time, they're like, well, I have a Facebook work page and I have a regular work page. People not buying your lipstick. They buying your story. People are not coming to your restaurant. They coming to your story.
Yep.
People are not going to your salon. They're going to your story. And the more people know about your story, the better. People are like, every time you do something, it's 1 million people there. Every time you put something up on social, it goes viral. I could tell it's about it's 100,000. And all you did was, because people know my story. Tell your story. I tell people all the time, I will tell my story before you tell my business. There's nothing you can go out in this community and say about me that I haven't already told people. And there's no separation of church and state anymore.
Yeah.
So the best thing you can do for your career, for your business, for yourself is just start telling your story. Tell it. And then, you know, this is the good thing. If you tell it so good, other people going to start telling.
Yep.
I walk in a room and I can hear people tell my story. That's Sheletta. You know her? She got 3 kids with autism. And, you know, 2 of them tested on the spectrum, but the other one, not yet, because COVID happened. They had to put a therapist out the house. But you know she got 3 books. She got 1 coming out in April for Autism Awareness. But I heard she's going to Good Morning America. Oh, okay, I got to meet her. Yeah, you go to her website, ShelettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She is so good. You know, she was at this thing I spoke at. And I'm listening.
Yeah.
But how did they hear that story? As women, we always wait for somebody else to tell our story. We wait for somebody else to celebrate us. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Wait for somebody else to clap for us, right? We talked about this.
Yep.
Why are you waiting for somebody else to say something good about you?
Yeah.
Why are you waiting for somebody else to tell your story? Katherine Johnson waited 47 years for anybody at NASA to recognize her saving the Apollo 13 space mission. She was getting ready to go to her grave and check up out of here at 98 years old before she got the Presidential Medal of Freedom for something that she did 47 years earlier. If the movie Hidden Figures didn't come out, we may have never known. As much as we pray for girls and women to go into STEM, we may have never known about her accomplishments. Why didn't these men celebrate her in real time? Why didn't somebody put a statue up? Why didn't somebody put her name on a plaque on the wall? Why? Because they knew she wasn't going to do it. They knew she wasn't going to celebrate herself. So they figured, for what? It's no big deal. She just did her job, and she kept doing her job.
Right.
With a spirit of excellence. We have got to stand up when we do something good and let everybody know about it, so that everybody else could keep celebrating us. I keep getting awards, girl. I keep winning stuff. I keep being on the cover of magazines. Why? Because I'm always letting you know how awesome I am. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to pat me on the back and say that's good. And it's not bragging. It's not. And I've talked to these guys, and they're like, you promote yourself so much. If I wait for you to do it, you may never do it.
Yeah.
You may never do it.
Woo.
You know, we listen to our episodes and editing, and then I'm usually done. But I think I'm going to take this one on a walk with me.
Go on a walk, girl.
I'm going to take this in the future and listen again and again, because I feel
There were like 2 or 3 master classes here.
Exactly. I'm
So,
ready to get out there.
So thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
thank you,
so
Sheletta.
much
This
for
has
joining
been a
us
joy.
today.
Well, I have to say thank y'all for creating a space. You know what I mean? People don't create space for other people. Y'all could just be in here talking to y'allselves. But y'all are creating space for women like me and people like me. So God bless y'all for creating a space. So many people have podcasts, but they don't have a platform. Y'all have created more than just a podcast. You've created a platform, and that should be applauded.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you, Melanie. I appreciate
Gosh,
you.
I appreciate you.
And there we go.
Yeah.
That was like a little bit of a roller coaster, but in the very best way.
I know my face hurts from smiling and laughing. She's amazing.
There are just so many things to sort of take from that. The happiness is a choice.
Yes.
You got to celebrate yourself.
Yes.
right? So Mel,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to celebrate yourself.
We do.
So like right now, celebrate yourself.
Oh God, I'm starting to sweat. Like, I don't. My hands feel nervous.
No, shake it all off. You get 10 seconds. Shake that off. And now, like, Mel, like, why are you awesome?
I'm awesome because I'm a kind person. I am creative. I'm a good writer. And I like animals. I'm a great boss. Nadege, our producer here who's on my team said it. Well, I like it's really hard. Like it's hard. Okay,
yeah.
Point made, Nadege.
Indeed. I'm not answering the question.
No, you absolutely are. You absolutely are. What are you gonna say?
Oh, I don't know.
Why are you awesome?
I mean, when she was talking about sort of telling the story, like I'm awesome because I went through a breast cancer experience and I told that story and I shared it because people don't talk about it and like you got to talk about it so that people know like where the community is.
You did. You were so brave.
I don't know if I was brave. Like I did a thing, but
you did a thing. No, yes, you.
I'm also awesome because I'm a straight up weirdo. Like I don't lean into that enough, but like as serious as like, you know, you used to be a lawyer, you're the chief operating officer.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. No, I'm like a straight up wackadoodle weirdo. And like, and I honestly, whether I do it intentionally or not, like that shows up in how I am in my work and whatever. Even when it feels formal, just wait for it. Like there's going to be just a little glimmer of weirdness. And I think that like, that's classic me.
I love that. You know what I know about you, but
Oh God.
I've seen it just a little bit here and there, more and more. Your voices.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a whole situation that I don't think we have enough time for on this episode anymore.
I'm owning you as an amazing weirdo with voices.
Yes, I do. I do have voices and characters.
Yes,
and
the characters.
When my daughter was a smaller human, they made many, many, many more appearances. I just think like we should do that exercise. Like we are women leaders in a space and we work with and mentor and lead and, you know, like when we think about how are ways that we can open up a space, I'm going to try to figure out how to open up a space by asking people to share why they are awesome.
I love that you did that because we're nodding our heads with her, but in real time we are socialized
we're
not
socialized to not do it.
Yes. Appreciate that.
That was so great.
Whew.
Thank you for listening to I So Appreciate You. You can find us on Facebook at I So Appreciate You Podcast and on Instagram at So Appreciate You.
We'd also appreciate you taking a moment to write us a review. And if you like our show, be sure to follow I So Appreciate You on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening to us right now.
Have a question or topic suggestion? Email us at podcast@spmcf.org. Thank you for listening to I So Appreciate You.